Steve Kerr is a name most people associate with the recent success of the Golden State Warriors, but his NBA legacy began long before he became a coach. His path to greatness is a story of perseverance, historic moments, and a shot that changed the course of championships. Today, we dive deep into just how good Steve Kerr really was during his prime as a player, and what made him so special in an era filled with stars. Steve Kerr's story is not your typical basketball narrative. Born into an academic family, his father, Malcolm Kerr, was a respected professor of Middle Eastern politics and president of the American University of Beirut. Steve's childhood was marked by constant moves between California, Egypt, and Lebanon, giving him a unique perspective on life. Although this environment seemed far removed from basketball, Steve found in the sport a passion that would become his refuge. From a young age, Kerr stood out for his obsession with shooting. He spent hours practicing in his driveway, perfecting his technique on a hoop bolted to the garage roof. However, things weren't always easy. Despite his talent, Steve was skinny and lacked the athleticism typically seen in players his size. Standing just 6'3", he relied entirely on his shooting ability. In 1984, during his freshman year at the University of Arizona, a 3 a.m. phone call brought him the worst news. His father had been assassinated in Beirut in a political attack. Despite the tragedy, Steve chose to stay at the university, and just 2 days later, he played a game in honor of his father. That game became a symbol of his resilience, as he delivered an outstanding performance and demonstrated remarkable mental strength. Kerr established himself as an elite shooter at Arizona. When the NCAA introduced the three-point line in 1986, Kerr wasted no time making history. During his first season with the new rule, he set the single-season record for three-point percentage at 57.3%, a record that remained unbroken for 2 decades. But not everything was smooth sailing. During a game against Arizona State, rival fans taunted him with chants referencing his father's death. Instead of breaking down, Steve channeled his anger and sadness into motivation, delivering one of the best games of his career, scoring 20 points in the first half and leading his team to victory. Making it to the NBA wasn't an obvious dream for Kerr. He was selected in the second round of the 1988 draft by the Phoenix Suns at the 50th overall pick, signaling a tough road ahead. His rookie season was modest, spending most of his time on the bench, but Kerr wasn't one to give up easily. After being traded to the Cleveland Cavaliers, he began to prove his worth as a reliable perimeter shooter. In his second year in the league, he led the NBA in three-point percentage, hitting an impressive 51% of his attempts. The biggest turning point in his career came in 1993 when he signed with the Chicago Bulls. While he wasn't a superstar, Kerr quickly found his niche as a three-point specialist, a critical role on a team led by Michael Jordan and coached by Phil Jackson. Jackson saw Kerr not just as a shooter, but as a player who understood his role and executed it to perfection. During practices, Steve had to contend with Michael Jordan's demanding and tough approach. In a now famous practice, Kerr and Jordan clashed in a series of plays that culminated in a physical altercation. Michael hit Kerr, but rather than creating animosity, this event strengthened their relationship. MJ later admitted that the moment earned his respect for Kerr as a competitor, knowing he wouldn't back down from anyone. The 1995-96 season was one of the most iconic in NBA history. The Bulls set a record of 72-10 in the regular season, and Kerr was an integral part of that historic team. While his individual stats, 8.4 points and 2.3 assists per game, might seem modest, what stood out was his efficiency. Kerr shot 50% from the field, 51% from three-point range, and 93% from the free throw line, becoming the first player in NBA history to achieve a 50-50-90 season. One of Kerr's defining moments came in the 1997 Finals against the Utah Jazz. With the score tied at 86 in Game 6 and seconds ticking away, Michael Jordan told Kerr to be ready. "I'll be ready," Kerr responded, and he kept his word. He received a pass from MJ and sank the game-winning shot, securing the Bulls' fifth title of the Jordan era. That shot became an iconic moment and solidified Kerr as a player who could shine in the most critical moments. Kerr stayed with the Bulls through the 1997-98 season, contributing to another championship in what became known as the Last Dance. After that season, with the breakup of the Chicago roster, Kerr moved to San Antonio, where he found a new home under Greg Popovich's leadership. Although his minutes decreased, his precision and experience were crucial in helping the Spurs win championships in 1999 and 2003. In the 2003 Western Conference Finals, with the team struggling against the Dallas Mavericks, Popovich turned to Kerr, who came off the bench to hit 4 consecutive three-pointers, turning the game around and leading the Spurs to victory. Steve Kerr retired with 5 championship rings and a career three-point shooting percentage of 45.4%, the highest in NBA history. While some might say he was fortunate to play alongside legendary players and coaches, his impact was far more than circumstantial. Steve Kerr was the epitome of a consummate professional, a player who understood his role, worked tirelessly to perfect his shot, and delivered in the moments that mattered most. After retiring, Kerr continued his NBA journey, first as a broadcaster and then as the head coach of the Golden State Warriors, where he once again made history by leading the team to multiple championships and revolutionizing the way modern basketball is played. After watching this video, what do you think about this player's career? Would you like to learn more about other NBA legends? Let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear your opinion. And remember, if you want to see more content like this, don't forget to subscribe